Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Tom Plays Europa Universalis 4 for absolute beginners. We are back with England, and we're making war on Burgundy. That's about all there is to say about that, really. So, yeah, I guess just speed the time up a bit, keep an eye on how the war's progressing. Hopefully most of it is going to be conducted by our allies rather than us directly. And I think our claim's actually on Cambresis rather than Hainaut, and I'm probably butchering those names. Oh, of course, yeah, we don't want that. It's administrative ideas. We want to stop at 3 for a while. What we mostly want now is to get ourselves, well, workshops, but also get to tech level 7, which will give us a second idea group, which will be exploration. Yeah, you see we've got quite a big battle going on down in France, which is good. I'm deeply hoping Castile and France, wherever they are going to win this. Looks like it's mostly Castile. Unfortunately, they aren't doing. But even if they do, even if they don't, sorry, it will reduce Burgundy's manpower. Oh, yes, we do want this. Although it's a little dangerous because we're going to need admin power for the new territories when we have them. Assuming I'm not getting too far ahead of myself here. Okay, so things aren't going so well down there, but oh, I see. Burgundy versus Aragon. But at the same time, Austria is making some inroads. What we will want to keep an eye on is anyone willing to make peace, because there are a lot of these countries that are providing armies, but we don't actually care about them that much. So if we can make a nice basic peace with them, that would be brilliant. Okay, piling up a few of these alerts. I don't think we've had this one before. National decisions available. We get this a lot. There are a bunch of decisions we can theoretically take. This is a very good example of why the Reformation happened. But strangely, there are no disadvantages to passing it as a decision. So I'm going to pass it anyway, even though it's horrible. So yeah, and also it looks like we have gained another government rank, state and religion. So I think there's, oh, I see, yeah. I think I tend to go for maintain balance of power. It helps states be more loyal. I'm still never entirely sure how we're going to go as England, so I'll just go with the basic one. And we've won the siege of Picardy. Brilliant. Right, well, let's move someone there. And of course that's forced the Burgundian ships to set off from Picardy and run right into the terrors of the English Navy. Might be worth our sending the Navy back for repairs after this. We're not very badly injured, to be fair. So then we might move them. we had this before? We probably have. Generally speaking, I would just go with it. Tolerance of heretics, not a problem, because everyone at the moment is Catholic anyway. So we may as well just make the most of it. So if we move over to the coast of Holland, we're now hemming these ships in. Well, that's a bit annoying. Maybe we should see if we can take down that Verdun fleet. While we're at it. Actually, we probably shouldn't have done that, because Verdun will probably make peace. Never mind. Fighting wars may help our naval tradition. Taking down Brests. Right, so this is the final, I think, state that we have a claim on. Back to the coast of Holland, but yes, we need to... We should be checking this all the time, basically. So anyone who's low, like Verdun, we should offer peace to. Generally do suggest demands. They're just going to give us a small amount of money. That's fine, but it means that the army of Verdun is no longer fighting. So, well worth doing. Not happy about this at all. So they're obviously trying to get Castile to pull out of the war. Not much we can do about it right now. I suppose we could send an army down. I'm not too worried though, because with Austria attacking their allies, kind of hoping we'll be able to deal with a lot of this ourselves anyway. Oh yeah, we've gained an extra diplomat, which is good. Might keep them free, because that's why we were able to make peace with Verdun. Okay, I don't think we've seen this before, and it's usually a good opportunity to pause. So we've reached the maximum, or we've almost reached the maximum amount of diplomatic power, which is always a problem because it can mean it goes to waste. We are pretty close to actually getting the next technology, which isn't what I wanted, but let's just push London's diplomatic power by 1. That should be quite expensive. Calling it diplomatic power, it's more the base production. Okay, can't seem to click on that province. Stuff from Portugal. But yeah, so we'll probably get the warning again fairly soon, but I'm pretty inclined to get the technology. Oh, brilliant. Less national unrest, I can accept that. Hopefully take that down a little. You do often find that unrest happens more during war, which is the exact time when you don't want uprisings as a rule. Can the Papal State not join in? Because Austria seems to be ignoring them. Oh no, they did. Switzerland's down to medium, Brabant's down to medium. I think our siege just finished, which is brilliant. So let's send someone over here. Let's send the better general over there. Let's send someone over to Brabant. Try and get them to pull out. Deeply worried about what's going to happen when Toledo falls. But then Burgundy has problems of their own. So probably shouldn't worry too much, really. Okay, diplomats coming back. They're in power of the burghers. Okay, so we've got a few options here. Advisor costs are good, or we lose a whole load of stuff. Yeah, I think we're better off risking it. Will make some people very unhappy, but it's worth it. Right, so let's see if we can just head down into Burgundy themselves, and as soon as we're off Brabant's land, sometimes if you make peace with someone while your army storm the land, they get a status where they're not able to fight. Oh, they're a vassal. Alright, fair enough. Right, just a vassal of Burgundy. Well, maybe we can get them to release them or something. That will be diplomatic power again, so let's just up it in London again. London is generally going to be our best city, so they're our best chance of institutions forming. So it's always worth improving the stats of London. Worth improving everyone else as well. But while we're kind of busy, okay, I'm going to try and improve relations with Castile in the hope of keeping the war a little longer, although I think we're already quite high. Yeah, Switzerland is medium. But I think it... I don't think they'd be willing to give up just yet. Okay, well let's improve relations with Austria as well, and I don't know, Ingolstadt. Just about keeping them all in the war as long as possible. Normally I'd be tempted to end it here because we only want 4 provinces, but we might be able to do other things to weaken Burgundy. We might be able to get money out of them, so it's worth it. If we help with this siege, it frees other armies up. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Let me just head back up here. Yeah, they are running riot over down in Castile. I'm not blaming Castile for pulling out any second. But of course, once they do pull out, our war score is going to jump because most of Burgundy's gains are in Castile. Thinking about it, we were going to do workshops, weren't we? So this is the workshop, this is a new one, and I'm literally just going to go down here, do the top 5 and maybe a couple more. That should fulfill that mission we had, if you remember, and it should also improve our monetary situation in preparation for colonising, which would be good. I don't think our navy's actually doing anything here now. Let's just send them back for repairs and maybe we'll go down and make life difficult for Aragon or something. Looks like Castile is fighting for their country again, which is good, and Switzerland have just lost everything, so let's get them to pull out. Didn't give any land to Austria. We could have done if we wanted to be kind, but I do wonder if we'll end up in conflict with Austria, so possibly best not to. And let's improve relations with Milan. And Siege of Luxembourg, that's good. Let's bring our army down, take more of Burgundy. Kind of starting to feel like, what will we get? Give something to Geneva, but we don't get Cambresis. Okay, yes, we need to go a bit further. Although, not so fussed about them ceding things to Geneva, to be fair. But yeah, once Castile does pull out, if they do, which it looks like they might, oh, good to see France is helping them at least, so we're not being completely unhelpful, given that they're technically part of us. But once they do pull out, the war score will jump, so that might be a good time to make peace, if we're going to. And in the meantime, we can be sieging this castle. There doesn't seem to be much left of Burgundy themselves now. What else do we have? Nothing too obvious yet. Well, Papal State is medium, but they're not willing to make peace. That is fair enough. Austria has reached the south of France now, so we might even be rescuing Castile. Or Castile are rescuing themselves. Papal State, that is fine. I do need to put another 5 papal influence in. But yeah, that pretty much looks like we've won. And I haven't noticed we've maxed out again, but let's get the next diplomatic technology. Because while we will want all the diplomatic tech we can get, once we get the next idea, we do still need to get there, and we are about to be coring some lands which will hold us up. So yeah, that does mean, I believe, we can now make better trade ships, as in light ships and heavy ships. So I'm kind of wondering if we should. Let's also fulfill this mission. So build buildings, we finished building those 5 workshops. Our next one is build a treasury. We are actually on our way there, which would be good, but I would also like to build a couple more carracks for our colonial fleet. Looks like we've got room for another carrack here as well. Okay, we've lost stability. That's because our king has died. That's actually better news than you'd think, because I was quite worried about our king becoming really old and the heir also becoming really old. So now the king has died and Henry Tudor is only 41. Hopefully he will have an heir himself. He'll be a bit younger. So we naturally want as many royal marriages as we can, although not with Brittany. So we might be able to make war on Brittany faster than I'd feared. Right, so let's make a royal marriage with Austria. So basically the royal marriages gives us a better chance of having an heir. And we should really be moving you somewhere. Let's have you harass Aragon a little. Even though it means going a very long way. The Burgundian army has come back up here, which means they've left Castile, unfortunately. Oh, I see, France is attacking Aragon. Yeah, we've got a lot of armies coming this way. I might even consider pulling this one to a close soon. So tempting not to, because we're doing so well, but at the same time we don't really want to drag it out forever. Let's just see what we can get now. Okay, so this actually gives us everything we wanted and then some, plus some money. I am happy with that. Let's go with that. We're obviously risking the wrath of the Holy Roman Empire. Enacted an imperial reform. Right, so fair enough. And we've got some particularists. Things considered, I don't particularly mind dealing with some on the way back. France has actually been quite helpful. Burgundy is no longer a valid rival, that's fine. And we need to core all of these problems. You see, these are actually quite expensive. Let's start with the more expensive ones, in fact. So we can't even afford to core all of them. Overextension's quite high, but assuming we survive this... yeah, we've got corruption gaining as well, so I'm going to put more into fighting corruption. Get it to green 0. It's not going to go down, but once we finish coring any province at all, it will start going down. So we will end up with no corruption at all. So this would be a great time to attack Brittany, but best not to risk it, plus we've got no manpower. Reformers, okay, so we can promote it to gain admin power, or we can not promote it. I think we've had this before, and once again we desperately need admin power. So let's promote it. Still not enough to allow us to core things, but that's good anyway. So we've taken a fair chunk of land from Burgundy, and it was like a straight win. So it's all the gains went straight to England there, which is brilliant, and we will be much more powerful once we've cored them. What else? I don't think there is much else really. We are supposed to be trying to build a treasury for that mission. I need 2,000. Okay, our philosopher has argued with the bishop. I don't think we want to lose that much papal influence. So yeah, going to comply, and we will just get the next best advisor we can get. Not very interested in missionary strength though, so let's go for... actually, can we afford? We can't at the moment. We will be able to. Might be worth taking a risk and getting the +2 advisor. So you see, they're much more expensive than the one we got cheaper, but and at the moment we'll be losing money. But I think that will be temporary while we core some provinces. So once we actually manage to core anything, I think we will start gaining money again. Does kind of go against our fulfilling that build a treasury mission, but at the same time we desperately need admin power. At least we're coring all of these now, so we can start, but we want to get this next technology so we can finally finally start exploring the New World. So yeah, I think on the whole that would be a good move. Right, let's just improve relations with some more people. I'm going to start improving relations with Poland, because if we do fall out with the Holy Roman Empire, they will be our main ally. Well, if we fall out with Austria, which may not happen, but we can see. Okay, so colonialism has hit. I did want to be colonising before that happened, but it can't be helped. This is the problem with being England and with being France, to be fair. You're a bit divided. You tend to be fighting on the continent as much as you are colonising. So it's hitting Portugal. It's not a huge surprise. Porto is one of their most valuable provinces. It's where the country takes its name from. So it's just at what point we'll be able to get it to spread into our lands as well. Surprisingly, Castile doesn't really seem to have it. No, purely Portugal at the moment. It will spread to Castile. I think they're quite friendly. Which, don't know if I mentioned, but the institute spread happens more readily between countries if you are friendly with them. Oh, actually, sorry, it has hit up there. So yeah, this is often an institute which takes a while to reach other countries. It would be nice to think that once we start colonising, it might start appearing in England, but we'll see. And looking at the upcoming independence, I'm thinking we should get an army back into Ireland. So we're going to need to put down some rebellions, I think. But that's good, because we've probably got some nasty aggressive expansion down here anyway. So we probably want a good pause before making any more wars anyway. Plus we might want people to help us. And we definitely want to get the next admin tech before we do any more coring. Except for the provinces we already have. Golden era for culture. So we've got a skill 2 artist. Now that is good, because I think they will be an administrative. Yeah, cheap +2 advisors. So if we switch to them, that will save us money. I think we're already gaining money again. And as coring costs money, we should be gaining even more now. Okay, the Irish nations are fighting each other, which is fine. Got an uprising coming. Acceptance for Waldensian. Okay, so these are likely to show up in the Netherlands. Must be a specific type of probably Protestantism, but we will have to put them down. None of these rulers are particularly old. So our next concern is getting Renaissance thought, basically. Much as I'd like to attack Brittany. Okay, so this is something I think which happened historically. There was a question as to whether England was going to focus on the sea or focus on the army. which is an interesting one because arguably the army is actually more important. But I am kind of relying on our navy as well as Britain, but I wonder if we will actually get enough benefits just from being England and later the UK to make that unnecessary, and we'd be better off with this benefit for our army. The navy isn't usually as important in this game as it actually is in real life. Speaking of the navy, where have our ships gone? Oh, there they are. So I'm going to join this one onto our main navy, and the other one is going to be part of our colonial navy. Okay, perfect. Right, so we should start making more claims. I think, are you a junior partner of Burgundy? You are, right. So we want to start spying on Burgundy again. If we don't have claims on Holland, we want some. No, we do have some. But there would be quite a fight by the look of it. Yep, don't think I can resist that one. Oh, what am I doing? Try to merge these armies. Oh, actually, I don't even need a navy for this, do I? So is that going to be enough to take Scotland on? I have to question whether it is. I'm just thinking, if Castile aren't willing to join in against Brittany, it might be a good time to attack them. I guess we still have our claim on Lothian. We do. We're going to be having to take lands from Norway the hard way, I can see this. Guess I took too much from Scotland. To be honest, it's probably more to do with him being a junior partner of Brittany, but a lot of the time Scotland takes these two lands before we have to fight them. Before we actually claim Scotland. So if we are going to fight Brittany, what we probably want to do is leave Brittany to France to start with, make sure we've dealt with Scotland properly, and then go in for the kill. I would love it if we could vassalise Brittany and deal with them diplomatically. Although to be fair, just thinking diplomatic power might be more important once we do get Renaissance fort. The problem is we can't afford to core any lands until we've got all our exploration ideas. Not exploration, until we've got Renaissance fort, sorry. Just thinking maybe we should get professional officers before we attack. It's a little risky. Oh, we got them. Not that risky then. We are at quite a disadvantage for everything except admin power now. But yeah, I was thinking this. We're probably going to get some new troops, which will need time to bed in. Right, so these are Scottish and English. I think they're Scottish and Irish, they're pretty much the closest to England. But yeah, there's the problem. Massive morale hit because it's an improvement to the infantry. Okay, pretty much there, I think. And now Castile are willing to join in. Awesome. Right, in that case, I'm going to not bother, because I was in two minds about it anyway. Move you to Sligo. So yeah, that's what indecision gets you. Oh, good idea. Let's improve relations with the Papal State. Now I think about it. Okay, I've got another Papal blessing. Our legitimacy is very high, so I'm going to go for diplomatic power. Probably would be more useful when we're making war, to be honest. Might have been able to make more claims, although I think we did fine anyway. Oh, Morocco's fighting Portugal. But Castile isn't involved. Oh well. Looks like Morocco are doing quite well, which is good news for us. Still don't want that idea. Right, so... yeah, we're fine. Let's just spin on. We need that technology. With that in mind, I think investing the money is definitely a better option, even though we do want to do that treasury mission. And we're there. We're finally there. Far too late for the institution, but we're there. Right, so... this is the idea we desperately need, exploration ideas. And we're going to run through these as quickly as we can. So we've got Quest for the New World, which will allow us to hire an explorer as a leader. This is an alternative to an admiral. On average, they're not as powerful. Vatican infiltration, prestige more valuable. It's dropping a bit. That's also why we've got an alert, because it's telling us they're ready to go. So their big advantage is they can sail into these lands. Not lands, seas. Terra Incognita. We haven't really looked at this much, but at the moment it covers most of the world. And you need either an explorer on the sea or a conquistador on land to move into these spaces and discover what's in them. To get those, you need the first idea in the exploration group, which is Quests of a New World, which we've now finally got. So Castile and Portugal will have had this for a while. We have to be very careful on these seas, especially when exploring new ones, because we take a lot of damage. Like, I'm going to instantly go back to Connacht now. To be fair, we didn't set off from there, but yeah, it's a bit of a question whether we're better off setting... is that Connacht or Connacht? Whether we're better off setting off from there or from Donegal. Depends on the route that we take, I suppose. Looks like our various uprisings have sorted themselves out, which is nice. So yeah, our next idea, we hit 400, is going to be colonial ventures and will give us our first colonist. So once we make a colony, we're going to want to have an army to defend it. So we need to make one of our standard colonial armies. So I tend to find that 3 infantry, 1 cavalry and 2 artillery works for anything. Pretty much. Anything a colony will come up with. No matter how nasty we are. So that's interesting. Because we're so late to the game, we can actually see some things that Portugal and Castile have discovered. Mostly Portugal, I think. So we cannot currently, well, we have no colonists to send, so let's look at that again once we have colonists. I should possibly leave some of this for next time as well. Fabricate a claim on Burgundy, and we'll keep going because they own Brabant, so we can fabricate a couple of claims there as well. So here's a little repair icon next to the ships. If it can stop flashing messages, which tell us when they're fully repaired, but if we click on them we can actually see. The Carracks in theory should survive better than the early Carrack. Normally we'd have early Carracks when we're doing this. Oh, need to move our main army out so we can see the emerging colonial army. So slight cheat because obviously we know what the world looks like. I'm trying to discover Greenland, which either Greenland or Bermuda tends to be England's best stepping stone on the way to the New World. But we do need to be very careful because we have to make our way back as well. Colonial army is ready. You don't tend to need to give them a general. They're fine without one for uprisings, so that's good. We've reached Greenland. I think Bermuda is probably around here, so it might be worth checking these areas out. We can't actually do anything with this until we get the next idea. Military access, no problem. I might just have a go at reaching this area. See, we're still taking this route. So apparently this route is actually easier somehow, so we might be better off doing this area first, or even the main part of Greenland. Okay. I have a feeling this is a big pile of France's problem, so I'm not going to worry about it, except to improve relations with them again. Try to keep them happy. And we do have another summoner diet, okay. Which should allow us to seize land because it's taken everyone above 50%. Right, so the burghers, that's an interesting one. Clergy want a house of worship, that will give us prestige, I think. Oh no, no prestige, but one base tax, which is good. Nobility wants us to attack Brittany. And that does give us a subjugation casus belli, which is tempting. Should allow us to vassalize them, I hope. The burghers want us to increase our fleet size, which again is tempting. I might go with the nobility though, because vassalizing them is exactly what we want to do. Oh, right. Yeah, never let yourself get distracted while you've got an explorer out at sea. Hopefully we won't lose any ships because of that. And we've got colonial ventures. Brilliant. So I might actually stop there and we'll have a look at colonising. If indeed we're actually in a position to do so, but we may be because we do have a higher diplomatic tech than we would normally have. But yeah, so we've got an option to hopefully subjugate Brittany and also finally start colonising. So that's looking pretty good. But I will leave it there. because that's going to be a whole other subject. But yeah, that's good. Very happy with the with gaining on Burgundy. Less happy with having been so far behind on colonialism. I don't know whether we might have it begin in one of our countries once we have a colony, or whether we're now going to have to either try and make it happen artificially or even wait for it to reach us. She's unfortunate, but we'll discuss how we're going to deal with colonising next time. It's basically identical to France, but we will cover it. So yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.